Hello, fans of the greatest American sports car to ever exist. This is the Mark II of the Ford GT40. It is made by a brand I've never seen before called Zoom. Could be another fly-by-night operation, seeing how there's nothing saying it has Ford approval, but this car is so old, being from 1966, maybe you don't need approval. Maybe it's just part of the public domain. Anyways, let's take a look here. Reading the Wikipedia article, seems to be a lot of controversy here. The 66 race was when they did a 1-2-3 sweep of the 24 hours of Le Mans. What is controversial is what happened in this race. The number one car with the blue Gulf livery that everyone loves was driven by Ken Miles and, hold on. Not only Ken Miles, but also Denny Hulme, Hulme. I've never heard this person, but he deserves credit. The number two car, this one, was driven by Bruce McLaren of F1 fame, I believe, and Chris Amon. So, what happened is this car stole the brake rotors, or were accidentally put on this car from the number one car, and they had scheduled brake rotor changes because this is a 24-hour race. And then all the GT40s were winning, and so Ken Miles was apparently a difficult person to deal with, and Ford had a tough decision of deciding who's going to win the race. Were they going to let them just race and figure it out, but then maybe the cars would crash, and they wanted to beat Ferrari. So they tried to stage the two racers crossing the finish line as a tie. And so the controversy is whether or not Ken Miles purposely slowed down to let Bruce McLaren win in protest, because he dedicated so much to the program, or if Bruce McLaren just stomped the gas and took the number one position. So that's what's controversial. Here's, I believe, the image from that race. So this car was dictated the winner because it also started 60 feet behind the number one car, so it traveled a longer distance in the 24 hours of the race. Anyways, I thought that was kind of interesting. Alright, well, we have a photo etched piece of metal here with Zoom and Ford GT40 Mark II, and a number 2 as well if you don't understand Roman numerals, or I guess you could call it that 11-2. I don't know if there are any sensitive parts. There are these red toe hooks. They're not sticking out a great deal. I think I will try to take it off, but I'm gonna put it back on after this review. I'm not going to talk about the car anymore. I've already done so when I reviewed the Kyosho, which you'll see later on. Okay, well, let's see. Yeah, pretty plain bottom. I'm pretty sure the race car had that for ground effects. What I do like are these tires. They're very retro looking. Maybe tires, well, just look at the rear photograph. It seems like that's what tires looked like back in 1966. It is screwed together for some odd reason. You want to modify it or perhaps fix a problem. Hopefully there aren't any. Let's start with the front wheel here. So it is gold. It's got the center knockoff painted in silver. It seems to be passing air. You can see my finger there moving, right? So that's a nicely done wheel. The tire looks really good. It's bulging out like it was a balloon, and the Goodyear is printed concentrically. The tire treads don't look like truck tires from this side, and the tire is sunken below the fender like the real car, so that looks good. The rear is a little bit gappy though. Well, that's hard to say. The rear photo I pulled up, it is gappy, so maybe that's correct. Yeah, it's just that the side photo, it's kind of stuck under the tire, but it might be in the turn. No, it looks like it's running straight. Let's go look back at these photos here. I don't know if this is a reproduction, but Net Car Show, I have to assume that's the real car. But it looks gappy there. But here, you can see how tight it is, but it does look like it's going in a straight line and not through a turn. But here, again, I'm sure that thing could be a little gappy, so you'll have to decide. I guess it's okay. I would prefer it to be more sunken down though. That's how I envision it. It is nice that the tire is not the same tire as the front. It's clearly a different mold, and it's relatively concentric, the Goodyear printing. for you people that care, it does roll, but there's a lot of friction going on. Like the front isn't rolling at all, only the rear is rolling. So it's not a toy. It's more of a scale model. The number 2 in this stripe is tampo printed. It's not a decal. Oh wait, I could be wrong. What's this shininess here? Is it just shiny paint? Let's zoom in. Yeah, I think it's paint because it doesn't have that wrinkliness that one would associate with decals. So I think that's paint. It's good. The door handle there seems to have some silver paint on it. It is sticking up, and alright. There's a vent here. It's hard to tell because it's a black car, but yeah. I don't know if the other cars have black paint there. Obviously this one doesn't need it. But this Zoom has the 1, 2, 3 liveries. They have the blue Gulf. I thought about getting it, but I have a feeling someone's going to eventually do this casting out of resin. It's going to be awesome. But so I'm going to hold off. And I already have the number 3 car by Kyosho. Alright, the windows here have the details for the little sliding part, so that looks nice. Door cuts here look okay, not bad. This little recess here indicating the latch that holds the clamshell front end on, and also, if I could focus, one for the rear clamshell. Going to the front, yeah, be careful. You got these what looks to be photo etched metal pieces painted red for these. They're not really tow hooks. I have a suspicion this is meant to raise the front end. They have one of those L-shaped things. They slide it under and they raise the front end to swap out the tires. I don't know what you would call that. Please leave a comment if you know, because I can't even make up a fake name for it. Okay, there's a little bit of an orange detail in there for the turn signal, it looks like. Or I don't even know if that would make sense to have a turn signal way that down there. But it's clearly orange or red. And then, it's hard to tell, but there's some sort of shape there. It's a rectangle and it's painted silver, so some sort of fog light there. And then obviously you have the clear plastic over it and it's got some black printing around it, so that's very nicely done. Okay, there's a grill pattern here. I think it's plastic. I think that might be a separate piece, so very nice. It's even there as well. It's like a double level grill. It definitely sounds like plastic. Alright, so yeah, these fog light areas look good. Then the main headlight area, yeah, you got the clear plastic, the black surround, and then a rectangular headlight there, and some sort of other detail. Wait, I don't want my fingers to touch those red things. But what is this? Is a glue? Yeah, some sort of soft glue. Luckily it's soft, so you can scrape that away. And also, if something went wrong, you could remove this piece of plastic without breaking it. You know, it's not, if it was super glue, you'd break the plastic most likely. So I don't know, if anyone knows what these glues are they use, please let me know, because I'd like to get some. Anyways, yeah, all the lights look good. Alright, very good. Some silver circles there with the hood pin latches printed on there. Is this raised? I feel something there. I feel like this pin might be molded in, and then they printed a silver thing around it. I don't know why. Well, I guess these lines must be indicating the steel cable maybe holding the pin. Or I don't know. Why else would there be silver lines there? Please leave a comment. Going to the back side of this front thing. That's just perfectly smooth. I suppose that's okay. Wait a sec. I stand correct. There are ridges there. They're just so fine. I thought that was just paint. No, there's ridges, so I guess that's the radiator. But if I would have guessed the radiator would be further forward and, you know, air behind it, but so again, looks like a tampo print. No wrinkliness that I can tell. So unfortunately the tampo didn't get all the way in there, so there's a little bit of black shining through there. And then yeah, being a black model, my fingerprints are getting all over this thing. Nothing you can do about that. It's not a problem with the brand, it's just the color. Silver here for the excuse me. I cough a lot, There's a lot of air pollution where I live, so don't ever visit this country. Okay, silver there. We'll get to the interior later. This side here, the wheel, the tire, looks pretty good. Same with back here, except for that gappiness thing again. Legible for the Ford. That looks pretty good. Yes, all so far, no quality control problems. The door cut's coming up on the roof. We have the big bulge here for the helmet. Although I don't think that's correct. My concern is, if this is a bulge for a helmet, wouldn't it be wider? Who has a helmet that narrow? I can't tell in those photographs, but I would have suspicion. Whoever modeled this probably thinks this is supposed to be a fin and not a bulge to clear a helmet. If anyone's new to cars, the GT40 is called that because it's 40 inches from the ground, which is really low. So that's why they had a bulge here, because some of the drivers must have been relatively tall, and then their helmet makes them even taller. So yeah, leave a comment, but I'm pretty sure that bulge is incorrect. We'll have to see when the Kyosho comes out. Some sort of, I don't know, maybe a vent? Not sure. Some lines there. The gray looks pretty good. Depends how you hold the model. Hold on. Let's see. I gotta back out a little bit. Are they lined up? Yeah, maybe it's not lined up. I feel like this line is going that way. This one and this one seem okay. So not the straightest pair of lines, but oh well. Okay, well, going to the top of the rear here, you can clearly see there's some sort of silver detail. I don't know if that's like the air cleaner, air filter for the engine, but where is the engine? I don't know. I'm not sure if it's visible in the real car or if it's covered up. We have the two snorkels here, and there's a little bit of a recess, so that's nice. The gray stripes are carrying across, and now this number 2 is definitely a decal. So you can see, right? I think they chose a decal here because it would be impossible to tampo print around this snorkel, right? I mean, it had a hard enough time getting into those creases there, so it would never get around here. But if Mini GT did it, it might be possible. They do a good job printing all their stuff. I do see a shininess here. Maybe that's glue residue or paint. It feels hard and not soft. I think that might be a scoop or something as well in the real car to cool off the rear diff or something. Oh boy, what's going on here? This is a disaster. What the? So you can, obviously the rear grills are separate pieces because this one is kind of a mess. But if it's that soft glue, I might be able to save it. Yeah, see, look. If it was crazy glue, I'd probably break it. So I think that's just a matter of me doing that. Worst case scenario is I break it off and then I glue it back on myself. But let's see. Yeah, I took a little bit of the toothpick off. So left a little white from the toothpick. Alright, so that's savable. I'll do it later. The exhaust tips here look pretty good. They actually are, they look like they're flared out. And they're very chrome. And then the tail lights are clear red plastic. And then we have some molded in rivets for the rear wing. And then I do see this on some of the photos, some sort of frame. And this one is skeletonized, so okay. And then yeah, we already went over the base. We're going to take this apart just to see what the inside looks like. Also curious if I can sink those wheels in more. What's going on? Oh, there it goes. I don't know if it's hooking onto something in the front. I'm really wary of those red toe hooks there, or whatever you call those stand mounts. Stand hooks? Is that what it is? Lift hooks? Jack hooks. This interior piece, something's keeping it in there. Oh, I think possibly this exhaust thing. I don't know. I don't want to tear those exhausts apart, so, well, we'll have to just kind of look at it, I guess, right now. So the wiper blades, I didn't mention, they're just part of the window casting. Or wait a second, I'm getting closer. It's really hard to see when the whole car is black. I think those are photo etched metal pieces. Yeah, unfortunately they're not glued very well because I don't think the motors should be as high up as they are, right? Looking at, like, wouldn't this thing, the start of the arm, be somewhere down here instead of just floating up and on the windscreen like that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. I highly doubt the motor is coming through the glass windscreen. It's very rare for cars to do that. The motors are down here somewhere. So unfortunately, this is another case of some poor Chinese person that's never seen photographs of real cars and not realizing that those things should be angled differently. Well, it's nice that they're separate pieces. Give them credit there. Alright, well, we have a black interior, which I guess makes sense for a race car. Whoa, that's way too bright. Back to one lumen. We have some door panels, yeah, nice. The rib seats seem okay. No rear view mirror, but there's a good chance the real car didn't have them. The steering wheel looks like it could be hollow. There's a lot of distortion in the window. Yeah, no airbag or anything like that. The dashboard looks like it's got tiny little buttons or something, or rivets on it. I don't think there's anything in the instrument cluster. Oh, I gotta be careful of those red things up front. Ooh, boy, that's a lot of distortion. So, yeah, don't be expecting the ability to see a lot of good detail in this thing. It's acceptable, I guess. Seems fine. Going to this thing here. Can I... Oh, it does have disc brakes. Those tabs are indicating that there are actual disc brakes. It's just they're so hard to see through such thin spoke openings. I still can't see, and I know that they're there, right? I can't. Can you see a disc brake? I don't know. I'm sure it's there, but yeah, there's a lot of friction in this front one. I don't know what's going on. It's just too tight. Well, I guess if you took a file and filed out that recess, you could sink the tires up more. But if you're going to keep it on the stand, the thing's just going to droop down anyways. So I guess I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Yeah, let me come back. I thought about moving the axle after all, but I can't. This is the first time I've ever seen this in this hobby. The disc brake is part of the base. This is one continuous piece of plastic. See, it's going here and it's raising up. And they molded the brake system as part of this plastic base. I've never seen that done because it's a difficult mold process. But, yeah, it's interesting. So, basically, you can't really raise the axle because the brake, unless you break off the brake, then you could do it. But, too much work. So I pulled up a few more images. You can clearly see here the big dome they have. It's actually a separate piece riveted on to clear the helmet. It's not a thin fin like there. You'll also notice there's no second gas cap on this particular black car. They riveted it off. So the model's actually got that correct. There's only one gas cap on this particular number 2 car. But they definitely messed up on the the bulge. But I do think that maybe the engine bay could be close to correct because you can see the round intake thing there, and that's what that silver thing on the model is representing. And maybe they just blanked it all off with a cover afterwards. I don't know. Okay, well anyway, so they got the gas cap right, the hood bulge wrong. I guess it's alright. Here's the Kyosho. Kyosho did do a better job here. And then I don't know if the number 5 car or the third place car had 2 gas caps or not. Maybe not, because I probably would have painted that silver. Maybe only the blue one, the number 1 car, had 2 tanks. I don't know, leave a comment. What I like about the Kyosho, see, the rear tire is not as gappy, but it doesn't have as much paint detail. And also that 5 is crooked, I never even noticed that. But it's pretty good for its time. This is an old model. But it definitely is lacking compared to this. I mean, there's no black paint around the headlight covers. Surprisingly, it does have the hooks there. This one's riveted together as well. Okay, they do look quite similar in size, so there's nothing telling me that they're out of scale. And the Mini GT does all the modern Ford GTs. And you get to see how much bigger modern cars are. You know, they gotta have airbags, side safety protection, all sorts of additional gear. And this is a road car, so, well, street legal. Designed to be street legal. Although they did sell these to rich people. Well, so I would have to say this is the nicest 1/64 scale GT40. I'm really impressed with all the lights up front. The wheels, the tires look good. Maybe the stance isn't so great in the rear. That's questionable. The photo etched metal grills in back are really great. The interior is good enough. The engine detail could be better, or maybe that's just the way it is. So anyways, yeah, nothing saying that you shouldn't get this. If you love the Ford GT40, give it a go. They have all 3 liveries, as I may have mentioned earlier, so you could get the 1, 2, 3 finish, you know, replicated in your own living room. Thanks for watching, and hopefully, again, I would really still like to see this car done by a resin company, in particular MY64, possibly Fuel Me, Error 404. Please, not Scale Mini. I hate you guys. Yeah. I'm not even going to apologize for that. You guys make horrible resin models. Okay, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next Ford related video. See ya.